Hello everybody, it's Ghoul, and in today's video I decided to share my opinions on the Last of Us series, even though nobody asked me to. This series managed to create some of the most interesting, well-written, lovable characters ever, and then ruined them all. Spoiler, I didn't like The Last of Us 2. I know, nobody is surprised. And I know that this argument has faded out of the limelight quite a while ago, but I never got a chance to say my piece, so I decided I would say it now. To understand why the second one was so bad, it's important to understand why the first one was such an amazing, memorable piece. In the first game, you play as a grumpy old fart from Texas named Joel, who through extenuating circumstances becomes tasked with taking Ellie from Boston, Massachusetts, to Salt Lake City, Utah. An organization called the Fireflies that's been trying to hold the world together believes Ellie to be the cure to the cordyceps virus due to her immunity to it. We see proof of this over and over again throughout the story, including her ability to breathe the spores without ever becoming symptomatic. At first, Joel sees Ellie as just some annoying kid, as cargo, as something that he has to get from point A to point B. But of course, as the story progresses, Joel begins to like Ellie, and they kind of lean on each other. She becomes a sort of stand-in for the daughter that Joel loses at the beginning of the game. All of his actions, though some of them are not justifiable, and some of them are, they are all for Ellie. He does everything to protect Ellie, to save Ellie, to get to Ellie. His care for Ellie is often misguided, and that he sees a parental responsibility to her where he doesn't have one. We see this especially in the latter half of the game, where Joel doesn't trust Ellie to make her own decisions, and this is ultimately what drives him to save, in quotes, her at the Firefly Hospital. He does what he thinks is best for her, despite what she may have thought about the situation. Joel's flaws also include almost a toxic masculinity thing. I hate using that term, but he shuts down. He doesn't show emotion, especially when it comes to his grief over Sarah, the daughter that he lost at the beginning. And the fact that he's so ready, willing, and able to use violence to get what he needs or wants kind of exemplifies the toxic masculinity point a little bit too. So while misguided and maybe even a little toxic, Joel's actions are all done out of love for Ellie. Joel is not a good guy. We understand this. Ellie is also an extremely interesting character. She's really tough. She's really resourceful. She's really annoying. But that's okay because she's a kid. It's part of it. So Ellie grew up after the apocalypse began. She has no memories of what life was like before, and she's not a little bit jaded about the world. The Left Behind DLC also did a pretty good job explaining what life was like for Ellie, and I thought it was a really cool story. At first, Ellie is this naive, kind of smart-mouthed girl, and she sees Joel as just a grumpy old fart from Texas. But almost immediately she has to lean on him because of his experience in the real world doing real guy shit. She opens up to him and the emotional investment evolves, and slowly she learns to defend herself as she understands that she's going to have to in this dangerous ass world. And Joel actually becomes critically injured towards the end of the game, and Ellie is the one that stitches up his wounds and manages to feed herself while Joel is on bed rest. By the ending, these two characters have grown. They are not perfect, they're flawed, but that's what makes them so interesting and believable. And this ending, I swear, you can see it in Ellie's eyes that she doesn't believe what Joel is telling her, but she wants to. And it's so well done, I will remember it forever.
I wasn't alone. My best friend was there. And she got bit too. We didn't know what to do. So, she says, let's just wait it out. You know, we can be all poetic and just lose our minds together. I'm still waiting for my turn.
Ellie.
Her name was Riley, and she was the first to die. And then it was Tess. And then Sam.
None of that is on you.
You don't understand.
I struggled for a long time with surviving. And you... No matter what, you keep finding something to fight for. Now, I know that's not what you want to hear right now.
Swear to me. Swear to me that everything that you've said about the Fireflies is true.
I swear.
Okay.
Then, less than 4 hours into the unforgivably long runtime of the second game, Joel is killed by some shitter with less than 12 minutes of screen time.
Let's get up!
This was done in a horrible, brutal, shocking way, and it was purely just to add shock value for when the big YouTubers started releasing their Let's Plays of this game. It added nothing but shock value. It was poorly executed. Joel could have died in a really cool way, and a really narratively satisfying way, but instead, his death served to introduce a character that nobody liked. And I don't say that just because Abby is a big bull bitch. She could have been very narratively interesting. She's a kid that was raised in the apocalypse, just like Ellie. This could have been very narratively satisfying if she hadn't birdied Joel to death just for shock value to introduce herself. Naturally, Ellie then swears revenge on Abby, but this is also where the game started to lose me, as the massive depth in character development and story arc that Ellie went through in the first game is thrown out the window as she becomes a merciless banshee of weeping and despair, a absolute fucking harbinger of the end times as she murks her way through hundreds of people to avenge Joel. The first game kind of makes a point of pointing out that every death matters. These are the last people. These are the last of humanity. These are the last of us. And Ellie just murks her way through all of these people. Sometimes the people that she's killing are literally begging her not to. Like, I'm not joking, that's a feature they added, that like every NPC in every encounter that you fight has a name, and they will shout things out like, oh my god, no, Kevin died, when they find a body or something. This could have been like a huge plot device to like push home the revenge bad idea that they're going for here. But it's overshadowed by the fact that by the time the voice line is done playing, Ellie has already severed 11 more carotid arteries. And then this game has the audacity to make you play as the person that killed the protagonist of the first fucking game for sections that drag on and on and on. This game is way too fucking long. I did some math and I discovered that Ellie has to have killed between, in my playthrough at least, had to have killed between 300 and 400 people. That is absurd. That is almost a 747 full of people. If a 747 crashed into a mountain tomorrow and everyone on board died, it would be all over the news. The fucking FAA would be investigating for wrongdoing. There'd be a fucking memorial. It's insane how many people that Ellie just mows her way through in this game. Joel kills approximately 30 to 40 people for the entire runtime of The Last of Us 1. Granted, he may have killed all of humanity and doomed them all to live in this apocalypse, but he actually physically kills 30 or 40 people for his whole game, and they're all actively trying to kill him or Ellie. Also, notice that I've already summarized everything I wanted to say about the second one. It took me 7 minutes to say everything I wanted about the first one in like 2.5 to get everything I wanted to say about this game out. Besides the combat, which was really fun, this game was a total emotional roller coaster all the way fucking through. It was such a fucking slog to get through this fucking game. It's much too long. Everybody's so sad, and there's no fucking like quippy, happy banter between you and your companions. This game sucked. And then to get to the end of the game, after murdering all 400 of those people, and just for a chance to kill this one person, you have the chance, you've won, you've beaten her, and you don't do it, and you try to claim that you're ending the cycle of revenge. Well, what about the families of all those people that you murdered just to get a chance at this? It is almost insulting to them to not kill Abby at this point. There is no other ending that they could have done that would be less satisfying than this one. This is the least possible satisfaction that you could have gotten from an ending in any piece of media I have ever watched. This game fucking sucked. I'm sorry if it's your favorite game ever. It's objectively worse than the first one.
All this money on me make me wanna poop.